120th slice scan are one of the many highlights. Dr. D.Y. Patil Hospital, the future has already arrived here.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pride privilege to welcome today's eminent speaker, Mr. Shiv Khera, the author, educator, and business consultant. Honorable Chancellor, Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapith, Dr. P.D. Patil Sir. Vice Chancellor, Dr. N.J. Pawar Sir. Vice Chairperson, Dr. Mrs. Bhagyashree Patil Madam. Honorable Secretary, Dr. Somnath Patil Sir. Trustees, Dr. Mrs. Smita Jadhav Madam and Dr. Yashraj Patil Sir, all deans, directors and principals of Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapith and Dr. D.Y. Patil Unitech Society, all faculty members, other participants across the country, and dear students. I, Dr. Chetan Chaudhary, on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapith, and on my own behalf, welcome you all for the most awaited webinar, Turn Setbacks into Comebacks. It is a constant endeavor at Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapith to deliver quality education to the students as well as to ensure holistic development of the student. This webinar is nothing but an attempt towards commitment of our university to serve the society. IQAC cell of our university has organized this webinar with an objective to uplift the morale and motivation of each stakeholder of our society, irrespective of his profession and irrespective of his community in today's pandemic situation which we are facing. As India continues its battle against COVID-19, our university understands that beyond the electronic connection, it is imperative to connect emotionally, especially in times of anxiety and uncertainty. Topic of today's webinar, Turn Setbacks into Comebacks, is very relevant with today's situation. Perhaps every one of us want not only to come back, but I'm sure to bounce back with full strength post-pandemic era. Today, we have with us author of international bestseller You Can Win and the renowned motivational speaker of the country, Mr. Shiv Khera. I request Honorable Chancellor Dr. P.D. Patil Sir to welcome today's speaker, Mr. Shiv Khera and his team, and thereafter declare the inauguration of this webinar. Dr. P.D. Patil Sir, Chancellor Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapit. Over to you,
Good
sir.
morning and positive welcome to you all. It is indeed an honor and pleasure to welcome the renowned motivational speaker, Mr. Khera at Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapit, Pimpri, Pune. Mr. Khera is an author, educator, business consultant, and an entrepreneur. Also, he has held numerous motivational workshops for years in more than 20 countries. He has authorized more than 16 books, including the bestseller, You Can Win. Personally, for me, You Can Win has been my all-time favorite, and it has helped me to shape and transform my ideas into reality. It's my pleasure to inform you that I have personally attended your seminar at Lee Meridian, Pune. Mr. Khera, you have been a tower of strength, a source of inspiration for thousands around the world. You have inspired and encouraged individuals to realize their true potential. DPU is one of the best examples. The Vidyapit was established to spread education in medical, dental, biotechnology, MBA, and many more 35 streams of science, engineering, and technology. From that time onwards, we have moved forward tremendously, adopting changes and incorporating innovations. As for our students, besides academics, we believe in their holistic development. They need to be skilled for a better future. Today, the Vidyapit has reached its heights not only in Maharashtra, but across the country and all over the world. All this has been possible because of positive thinking and determination. I would like to thank you for taking time for your busy schedule to address all of us. May you continue to shine bright and be a source of inspiration to all. Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for doing the honor. Now, I request Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. N.J. Pawar, sir, to give brief of our university and its major achievement. Dr. N.J. Pawar, sir.
It's indeed a great pleasure to have with us today renowned inspirational speaker, Mr. Shiv Khera. On behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapit and all my colleagues, Honorable Chancellor, as well as Vice Chairperson, Secretary, and Trustees, as well as all my colleagues, it is indeed a pleasure for me to welcome you, sir, for this particular webinar. Please look forward for your address, which will help motivate our students, faculty members, and all the other administrative staff. Sir, in order to give you some brief idea about our university, it is indeed a pleasure to inform you that the Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapit, which now we call it as a DPU, is established in 2003 with one medical college, which was established in 1995. But within a short time of about 15 years, now we have nearly 9 different faculties which are under the ambit of Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapit. They include medical, dental, Ayurveda, homeopath, physiotherapy, optometry and visual sciences, management and biotechnology. With all these 9 institutions, the Vidyapit is marching ahead in terms of the quality. In a very short duration of time, the university has achieved several distinctions which are at its credit. For example, we are a category 1 university as per the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Twice we have been accredited, and now we are A grade university with the highest CGPA of 3.62. As a result of this, the UGC has granted category 1 status to DPU. We also have been participating in all national level ranking schemes, particularly launched by MHRD. At the NIRF ranking, twice we have achieved the position in the top 50 universities across the nation, and one of the top 20 medical universities in India, which is a giving proud feeling to all our faculty members and students, as well as management, trustees, and all of us. Sir, just to give you an idea about what we have been doing at Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, let me inform you that we have nearly 119 UG, PG, doctoral fellowships and super specialty programs. We are essentially health sciences university, and therefore these 119 programs, they're all approved by MCI, DCI, AICTE, UGC, CCH, then INC and CCIM. To tell you, the strength of our university is its faculty members and the infrastructure. We have 850 odd faculty members. They're all top ranking doctors, professionals in their own field. And also we have state of the art infrastructure with 2011 bedded state of the art hospital. And we also have in the hospital 18 modular operation theaters of a global standard, 4th generation Da Vinci robotic surgery facility, which is one of its kind only in India, then 3 Tesla MRI, 120 slice CT machines, multi-scan organ transplant facility, and one of the unique features with the inspiration and support from our Honorable Vice Chairperson Bhagyashree Patil Madam, the Yashoda Human Milk Bank. And this has been taken up at a national and international level at different forums and appreciated these efforts. The hospitals are all NABH accredited. Recently, one of our laboratories, which is also for COVID-19 patient testing, is also NABL accredited. And therefore, all our facilities, they help. They're all ICT based, and therefore they help in collaborative, communicative, and cooperative learning environment. This is how the learning environment is created. We also have a very vibrant IQAC, Internal Quality Assurance Cell. And through this particular internal quality assurance cell, today we have organized this particular webinar, taking into consideration the stressful situation through which all our students and faculty members and supporting staff is going through. And with the help of our Honorable Chancellor and Vice Chairperson, it has been possible for us to organize this particular webinar with the support of them and also with all the motivation from them. And therefore, we thought that none other than you will be able to really inspire and motivate all our students and faculty members as well as all supporting staff in this particular crisis situation. Sir, we, on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, on behalf of our Honorable Chancellor, our Vice Chairperson, Bhagyashree Patil Madam, all the trustees, we welcome you for this particular webinar. It is indeed a pleasure to have you with us today, and we look forward for your motivational address for the students and faculty as well as our administrative staff. Warm welcome to you once again, sir. Thank you very much, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. N.J. Pawar, sir. Thank you, sir. It is an honor and privilege for me to introduce a man who actually don't need any introduction. However, to get inspiration, it is indeed necessary to know about Mr. Shiv Khera and his contribution. Mr. Shiv Khera is an author, educator, business consultant, and as much as he inspires and encourages individuals to realize their true potential, he has taken his dynamic personal messages to opposite side of the globe, from the United States to Singapore. His 40 years of research and understanding has put millions on the path of growth and fulfillment. Over 8 million copies of his books have been sold globally, including his international bestseller, You Can Win in 21 languages. His clients include Lufthansa, HP, DHL, HSBC, Canon, Nestle, Philips, Mercedes, Johnson & Johnson, MetLife, and many more. Tens of thousands have benefited from his dynamic workshop internationally in over 20 countries, and millions have heard him as a keynote speaker. He has appeared on numerous radio and television shows. Mr. Khera is a brand ambassador of Roundtable Foundation. He has been honored by the Lions International and Rotary International. His trademark is winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Once again, I welcome Mr. Shiv Khera and hand over to him to take on the session. Over to you, sir. Mr. Shiv Khera.
To everybody, is it okay? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Chaudhary, thanks for the kind words. And I want to thank Dr. Patil, who has started the whole big educational institution and his entire team. And I didn't know that he was my student, that he attended my program in India. I was not aware of that, but certainly I'm proud of you, sir. Indeed, that is wonderful. And I've been doing corporate training for the past 30 odd years, 35 years now. And when we do corporate training, all we share with them is that we are doing repair work. We are repairing here in the corporate training. But the key is, if you prepare them, you won't have to repair them. I repeat, if you prepare them, you won't have to repair them. And where do you prepare them? You prepare them in schools and colleges, and that is really what the whole thing is all about. But I congratulate you for making a great contribution to the country by giving quality education, and that's the key to nation building. All right, with those words, folks, I just want to make some disclaimers. One is, in today's crisis, nobody has all the answers. Certainly I don't. Nobody has the answers. I don't. And as a disclaimer, my academics are, I'm a BCom 3rd division. I failed in my 10th. That's my total academics. I come from a business family in India. We had 1,000 people working. We had coal mines in India, and the government took over and they nationalized. And right from being a mine owner, we came on the street. Street means street. I was married only 4 weeks then. And I remember a year later, my daughter was born. I did not have $10 to buy milk that night. I sold some of the last piece to my mother, Julie, to get released from the hospital. Now, that was a major setback to me. And thereafter, I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money, and I failed in all. Eventually, I left India in 1975, moved to US, and first got to Toronto. And since I'm not that educated, I started life with a bucket in my hand, started washing cars door to door for about 1.5 to 2 years. So daytime I used to wash cars, evening time I used to sell vacuum cleaners door to door. And totally by accident, I got into selling life insurance. And where I was literally on the verge of being fired by my manager, and some things happened. I'll share with you what are the turning points in my life, and those were my learnings, which is what I'm going to share. And things changed for me in my life, and I started moving in a different direction. I moved on to the US, got into 3 businesses. I bought out a company out of California in 1984, started the New Jersey operation with no clients, and I sold my company with close to 500 clients. Now that is really, in a nutshell, my life history, where I'm coming from. And that is why I've gone through 3 major setbacks in my life. And what helped me come back, that is what really is my learning through my journey, is what I'm looking to share. That's why the title was Turn Setbacks into Comebacks. Now, with that in mind, could I request all of you to kindly, for the next 65, 70 minutes, please switch off your mobiles. Not silent, just switch off your mobiles so we can actually communicate together. Fair enough? Kindly switch off your mobiles. Okay. Now, with that in mind, all of us are facing major challenges right now. And the challenges are the virus is invading from one city to the other, one city to the other. It has literally covered the whole world. And with the overcrowded hospitals everywhere, supplies are in shortage, medical supplies are in shortage, orders are getting canceled all over the world, factories are closing, unemployment going up, death rate going up. This has literally shaken up the entire world. The whole world has shaken up. Now, with the result, there is a lot of uncertainty and unpredictability. Nobody today can predict what is the finish line. Nobody knows what is the kind of cutoff line. That's it. And after that, we are all home free and clear. Nobody is able to tell that. Therefore, there's total unpredictability, number one. And number two, the uncertainty along with that is making people feel very insecure. We are all feeling very insecure. And two, we're all going through personal hardships. With the result, it has increased our stress level very high. Anxieties are high, frustration levels are high, depressions are high, and some people are even angry. So with the result, this is the current scenario. Now, I just want to clarify, stress is normal and natural. I repeat, stress is normal and natural. Anybody who says they have no stress belongs into the lunatic asylum. They need to be sent to the asylum. One, stress cannot be avoided nor should be denied. If we deny it, it comes back stronger and longer. I repeat, it comes back stronger and longer. Therefore, now the big thing is all stress is not bad. In fact, it is really stress that makes us perform in life. See, an athlete, when he goes to compete at the Olympics, if he's not under stress, there's no way he can perform. Think about it. If you have ever seen or been to the race course, have you seen the thoroughbreds? Thoroughbreds, before they get into the cabin, they are all jumping like this. They are under very heavy stress. They can't stand properly. They are under jumping all the time, and they are pushed into the cabin, and then they keep jumping right there. And the moment the window opens, guess what they do? They shoot and they run. Now, that is a thoroughbred. But you take a jackass to the race course. The jackass is so cool. He's so cool. He walks so coolly. Nothing happens, as if nothing happened. But you know something? That's a jackass. He does not run like a thoroughbred. Just remember one thing. Stress is the price we pay to be a thoroughbred in life. I repeat, stress is the price we pay to be a thoroughbred in life. Take that home. Now, folks, all of us can handle stress. All of us can handle stress. What we cannot handle is chronic stress. Are you with me? What we cannot handle is chronic stress. When stress becomes chronic, that is the time we start breaking down. Now, this is what we need to see, how we can cope up. Think about it. How come under the same set of circumstances, some people break records while others break themselves? How come? Identical circumstances. Now, the next statement that I'm going to share with you, I will probably repeat a few times till the end of the program. One is, let us not overrate the crisis and threat that we are facing. I repeat, let us not overrate the crisis and threat we are facing. And two, let us not underrate our strength to fight and win. I repeat, let us not underrate our strength to fight and win. Now, the crisis has impacted us three ways. One, impacting our life. Two, our livelihood. Three, our lifestyle. Now, how is it impacting our life? First of all, none of us know who will be in quarantine next. Nobody knows. I repeat, nobody knows who will be in quarantine next. And two, what we do, who we meet, and where we go could decide life and death for us today. I repeat one more time. What we do, who we meet, and where we go could decide life and death for us today. So with the result, that is life component. Two is our livelihood all over the world. Everybody has lost livelihood. Individuals, they don't have work, they don't have job. Business is closed, so the incomes have stopped. Even the governments are going bankrupt, they're not collecting taxes either. So everybody's income has stopped. With the result, the big question comes, how long can I live without an income? Now, this is literally forcing us people to what is going on and who are the people under major crisis. Folks, there are three kinds of people in this world. One is the super rich. One is the super rich, two, the mediocre, and three, the poor. The super rich are the super rich. They don't have any money problem. They don't have any money problem. Apples in the US, they have $200 billion in cash reserves. Well, how can they have a cash problem? $200 billion in cash reserves. Similarly, there are people like the big boys, maybe the Tatas, the Birlas, the Adani, the Ambani, we don't know. I would be totally surprised if they have a cash flow problem. I would be surprised if they have a cash flow problem. They're the super rich guys. Two is the mediocre, where probably I classify myself as a mediocre and maybe many others. Now, people like us are looking at it, well, my income stopped. How long will my savings last? Will they last the crisis, or the crisis will be longer than my saving? Which will be longer? Now, that's the big question. That is the mediocre people. But this is where it has raised two major things. See, I had another business in the US, which I sold my company, a pension tax consulting firm. And when we did pension planning for our clients, we always used to tell them that, look, you must have 1 year of your income easily accessible within liquid income, accessible within 24 hours. This could be emergency fund or opportunity fund. I repeat, emergency fund or opportunity fund, because emergencies and accidents do not warn you in advance. They come without giving you prior intimation. Therefore, you must be able to access 6 months of your income within less than 24 hours. Okay. Now, this is where people started understanding the difference between active income and passive income. See, I go to work, I get money. 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 The moment I stop going to work, I don't get any money. So active income is when I go to work, I get income. That is called active income. But people now have realized that I must have a passive income in life. I must have a passive income. If I don't go to work, I must still have an income. Are you with me? Now, so what we're sharing is their passive income also is crucial. We need to understand that. So when we are talking of livelihood, we need to see livelihood today and livelihood tomorrow. What will happen after the crisis is over? Now, coming back, the mediocre people are the middle class people, and the worst hit are the poor people. They're the worst hit. See, those are daily wages earners, hourly earners. They earn in the morning, eat in the evening, earn in the morning, eat in the evening. They earn in the morning. They are the worst hit out of the lot entirely. Now, coming back, the other day, I had a banker come to me and I asked him, what is your capacity that you're running in your banks right now? He said, sir, we're running with 30% capacity right now. I said, tell me, you're running with 30% staff this minute. Has your efficiency also come to 30% level? Or what is your efficiency level? He said, sir, no, that's it. We're working at 60, 70, 80% efficiency level. Hear this. With 30% staff, we are working at 60, 70, 80% efficiency level. So my next question was, does that mean that 60% of staff that you had before, they were redundant or they will become redundant when the crisis is over? That means you didn't need them before. What were they doing there? Okay. He said, well, that is something we need to think about after this is over. But I said, how did you do this? He said, what we did is we putting everybody on a digital platform. There were many, many people out there who were all on manual banking, couldn't understand, especially people like me, like Shiv Khera. I didn't understand technology at all till 5 weeks ago. I didn't understand at all. I was learning SMSs for my grandchildren. But the bottom line is, they said we are putting everybody on digital platform. That is why our efficiency has gone up, especially the senior citizens. They were shirking away from technology, but we put them up there. So I said, now what are you going to do? You got all the efficiency level up there. Will these people be a waste? Now he says, Mr. Khera, he said, there are 4 kinds of people working in every organization. Here this very crucial. There are 4 kinds of people who work in every organization. He said, one is the superstars. Superstars are proactive people, proactive. They do the job, they contribute, they give you ideas, they get your company up. And when they say the job is done, it is done. You can trust them. There is integrity level and they contribute a lot more. They are givers. They contribute to the company. They are your superstars, number one. The second category of people who work in an organization are the doers. You tell them they do it, you tell them they do it, you tell them they do it, you tell them they do it. But then you got to check, are they doing it right? You tell them and they do it. You don't tell them, they don't do it. That is the second breed of people. And the third breed of people in any organization are the talkers. You see, they talk more and they do less. And they only do what they can get by with. I repeat, they only do what they can get by with. With the result, they shirk. They're not motivated. They are not motivated. And the fourth category of people working in organizations, they're troublemakers. They are troublemakers. Superstars, the doers, the talkers, and the troublemakers. Only 4 kinds of people. He said, we need to get rid of the troublemakers and the talkers. I said, good. Whether the crisis came or not, you should have gotten rid of them anyway. Okay, see, this is what, when people say, what will happen to my situation? What about competition later? You see, we need to understand the people are looking for job security. You know something, the greatest job security in this world is performance. You repeat, the greatest job security in life is performance. Not only was an employer-employee, even as a university, if you're not performing, you have no job security. I, as a consultant, if I don't perform, I have no job security. Are you with me? The greatest job security in this world is performance. So with the result, people who are performers, they have nothing to worry at all. There is nothing that will bring them unemployment. Just remember one thing. One machine can do the job of 100 ordinary people, but 100 machines cannot do the work of one extraordinary person. Remember that. Are you with me? I repeat, one machine can replace 100 ordinary people, but 100 machines cannot replace one extraordinary person. Okay, now this is livelihood, and I'll come back to it later. Now, The second part is, the third part is livelihood. Livelihood has changed drastically. This is where people are starting to think, lifestyle. One is life, two livelihood, third is lifestyle. Lifestyle has changed drastically. Now, how has that changed? See, people, till the lockdown came in, we were all running in the fast lane. We were growing. We have no time. We had no time. Where we were going, we didn't know, but we were going. Where we were going, we didn't know. But everybody was running. And yet, look at this. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we have never had that many time-saving devices in history, and yet we did not have what? We didn't have time. You know why? Because somewhere we messed up our priorities. By the way, I'm not here preaching. I am guilty myself. I messed up my own priorities many times in life. Somewhere we messed up our priorities. And when we mess up our priorities, we forget to distinguish between what's urgent in life and what's important in life. Now, urgent may or may not be important, and important may or may not be urgent. But the funny thing is that whenever we ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. Look at this. Health is important. Exercising every day is important. But you see, if I have a crucial meeting tonight and I'm not able to exercise, it's not the end of the world. But if I ignore my health long enough, guess what happens? I will land up in the hospital. You ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. See, in life, relationships are important, but they're not urgent. But if I ignore relationship long enough, guess what happens? We start talking to our lawyers. We ignore what is important. It always converts into urgent. Now, this is what has done to our lifestyle. People have started thinking that money in the bank is more important than having 35 shirts in your closet. Money in the bank is more important than having a car worth $100,000 or $200,000. They've started thinking, what's going on? We need to understand that. And they've stepped backwards and they said, let me see my priorities. I messed up my priorities. And you ask people, why do you go to work? I go to work for my family. Why do you work hard? I work hard for my family. Who are the most important people in your life? My family. Who are the most neglected? Also my family. And sadly, it is true. I've been guilty myself. But this is where people have started thinking, let me step backwards. Let me reprioritize. And sadly, many times in life, the most important people also become the most neglected people, which is sad. We need to set up our priorities. This is where a major difference is coming into our lifestyle. Okay, now I will come back to the three elements in a different manner later, but let me proceed further. Now, folks, moving further, through history, there are only 2 points of references where a similar crisis occurred in the past. And that is twice, 100 years ago, at the Spanish flu that came in. It killed between 50 to 70 million people. 18 million people in India died. Folks, in the year 1918, the flu came in, Spanish flu came in, and people thought everything was over. And they got a control handle on it, and it started fading away. And that's the time people said, we've conquered the flu, flu is out, and they dropped their guard and they became careless. And 6 months later, the Spanish flu came back and hit 35, 40 million people were dead after that. Why I'm saying this is, Many times people feel the crisis is over and the lockdown is finished, the crisis is over. Answer is not. Look at Korea, look at Singapore, where people are talking of the second phase coming back. We cannot drop the guard because the major deaths took place with the Spanish flu was the second phase, not the first phase. We cannot afford to drop the guard. Very crucial. So one is the Spanish flu was one component. It teaches one lesson. And the second one was the Great Depression of 1929. That time, Wall Street crashed. There was total panic and chaos. Banks failed and dollar lost value. People lost their savings. $1 became 50 cents. $100 became $15. $100 became $15. And unemployment went up to 15 million people in the US. Now, 15 million people then is equivalent to 60 million people unemployed in the US. Why? Because the population in the US was at that time 120 million. That's it. Today, the population in US is 330 million. With the result, the numbers are horrendous. And just last week, the figures came that close to 45 million people are unemployed in the US right now. 45 million people are unemployed in the last 4 weeks. Okay, now this is the current scenario. Now, what is a silver lining? Where is the silver lining? Let us look at the positive side. What happened at that time? This statement is very crucial, what I'm sharing with you. Remember, whenever unemployment has gone up, self-employment has always gone up. I repeat, whenever unemployment has gone up, self-employment has always gone up. Now, with the crisis during the Depression, people were struggling. They had no jobs, they had no risk-taking ability, no capital, nothing. Now, but there were some people who were positive people. They were solution-focused people. They started enterprises then. With nothing in their pocket. And today, they have become household words in the world. They have become household words in the United States. Now, these people, they were called positive entrepreneurs. They were called survivalist entrepreneurs. They had no money, no risk-taking ability. By the way, they had no degrees of education either. They did not have degrees. They were not innovative people. They had no technology. But what they had was, they were positive people. They had a positive attitude, and they were solution-focused people. You see, there are some people who are problem-focused. You know what that means? You give them a solution, they'll give you a problem. You give them a solution, they have a problem for every solution in this world. Henry Ford said, kick them out, kick them out. We're not stupid. We understand there are problems in life. We need solution-focused people. They were solution-focused people. And I'll share with you 3 examples of these. One was a man by the name of George Jenkins. In his neighborhood, he found an abandoned little cubbyhole shop there, abandoned. And he opened up a non-perishable, durable goods outlet. Now, let me qualify. Why non-perishable? Because if perishes, it'll be total loss. He couldn't take a loss. And why durable goods? He said, if they don't sell, at least I can use it. I won't have a loss. This is how he started 1929, with nothing in his pocket. Today, he has 1,000 stores in the US. 1,000 stores in the US. His turnover is $30 billion. And His net worth is close to $6 to $8 billion. And the store is called Publix Supermarket, one of the largest in the world. That's one. Two, there were two brothers, Gallo brothers in California. They were struggling, finding it hard to make a living. They thought, let me start crushing grapes and making wine out of it. They started crushing grapes and making wine out of it. But after they made the wine, nobody would buy it. People had no money. They had to sell their wine 50% below market. 50% below market. This was the starting point of Gallo wineries. And today, they account for 25% of the wine business in the US. They're worth $10 billion. That is Gallo Brothers. And the third example was, there was a man by the name of Simplot. He had a little patch of land in Idaho. He started cultivating potatoes. Now, what he could not sell in the market, they started eating. Now, what he could not eat started rotting. Think about it. Because what he could not eat, they started rotting. But he could not afford the loss of having the potatoes rot. So he created a system to freeze them. This is what the starting point. And today, Simplot family accounts for 33% of the French fries business in the United States. 33%. And his biggest customer is McDonald's. He's called the Potato King, and he's worth $10 to $12 billion. Now, let me qualify. The example that I gave here does not mean each one of us can become billionaires and each one of us will start doing $1 billion turnover. I'm not saying that at all. But all I'm saying is catch the spirit. They were as broke as anybody else, but they were solution focused. Think about it. How come under the same set of circumstances, some people break records while others break themselves? How come? We need to re-understand that. And they realized one thing, that education, these people were not educated. They had no degrees. They realized one thing, there's a difference between having education versus having a degree. I repeat, there's a difference between having an education versus having a degree. A person having a degree, it only means they have a lot of information, but they may or may not be educated. I repeat, a person could be a PhD. It only means they have a lot of information in that area, but they may or may not be educated. They created the distinction right here. Just having professional qualifications does not make a professional. Okay, so much. Now, going forward, again, the crisis impacts us three ways. One, physically. Two, economically. Three, psychologically. Physically means both physically and mentally. Now, and medically. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. Therefore, I'm not qualified to talk about it. But there's enough information circulated by the WHO and the news media that they're qualified. We get the information right there. But I do want to talk about hygiene factor. What is the hygiene factor? I remember during our childhood days when we were growing up, our parents said one thing: wash your hands when you come in, wash your hands when you go out, wash your hands when you go into the bathroom, wash your hands when you come out of the bathroom, wash your hands when you touch anything, wash your hands when you shake hands, wash your hands when you touch currency and money, wash your hands before you eat food. You know something? Probably we have forgotten to give the same hygienic values to our kids, our grandkids, our domestic help, our people in the office. Probably we have forgotten to do that. Now, this is not it. There's a second side to it, and that is, one is washing hands, which we ought to. But There are some people who are so non-caring, non-sensitive, that every time they go to wash hands, and while they are rubbing soaps on their hands, the water keeps running. Do you realize while the tap keeps running and you are rubbing your hands, 5 liters of water goes down the drain? 5 liters. And if we wash hands 20 times a day, one person is wasting 100 liters. They don't have the sense to turn off the tap. And if you have 5 people in your home, 5 people per family, one family is wasting 500 liters, and next world war will be on water shortage. Remember this, next world war will be on water shortage. Now, but that is one side of the picture. But the dichotomy is there are many people who say, forget washing hands, we don't even have drinking water. Hundreds of millions of people out there, they don't even have drinking water. He said, forget it, washing hands. I need drinking water, man. Okay, we need to understand the dichotomy. But today, the physical, medical part is, the positive side is, I heard a medical doctor say the other day that, look, the positive side of this is that occupancy in the hospital has gone down. I repeat, hospital occupancy has gone down by 50 to 70%. I'm not talking of the COVID-19. That has gone up, but occupancy otherwise in the hospital has gone down by 50 to 70%. And the reason given was that factories and cars are not running, hence there is no pollution. So people are not having respiratory problems. 1. 2, since the cars are not running, road accidents are not taking place. So we're not getting any accident victims anymore. 3, the hygiene and sanitary conditions have changed so drastically that infections have dropped. The only thing we need to see is, can we sustain, should we sustain the whole thing? How can we sustain without hurting the economy? I repeat, how can we sustain without hurting the economy? Okay, now that is the physical part. The second part is the economic part. All over the world, people and countries have realized that production and consumption is 25,000 miles away. This is the distance between production and consumption. And the crisis has said we cannot depend on a third nation today. We cannot depend on a third nation who can blackmail us tomorrow. Therefore, we need to become independent. We need to become self-sufficient. Therefore, forget globalization, talk localization. Let us get local now. Now, that doesn't mean you stop globalization. We will continue, but we need to bring production close to consumption. We must bring production close to consumption. You got to get this gap of 25,000 miles away, drop it. Now, first of all, why did production go 25,000 miles away? Because of primarily labor costs. And now people are looking at it that with robotics, artificial intelligence coming in, labor has become very slow. The labor component is very small. And they said, automize robotics, you don't need labor that much. A friend of mine just set up a new unit. His previous unit, he had 1,000 employees. The new unit he has set up with totally artificial intelligence with robotics there. And guess what? He's got only 70 people working there, only 70. And his output is 5 times greater. Production is 5 times greater with 1/10 of the people. Okay. Therefore, that is the economic side of it. And multiple things will change. Now, coming to and people also, economics part, people have realized that top line is not that important. Bottom line is more important. I repeat, bottom line is more important than top line. People are looking at it. How do we maintain my bottom line? Forget the top line. How do I maintain my bottom line? Okay, that is where discretionary, non-discretionary spending has come in. Non-discretionary, you cannot have it. You have to go do it. Food and medicine, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to spend. But discretionary, you can knock it off. Okay, now that is the economic side. Now the most important component is the psychological. One is physical, economic, and third is psychological. Psychological is the emotional side. Folks, this is the most crucial part, where people today, they're realizing earlier we did not have time. Today, all we have is time. All we have is time. And emotional part is the crucial part, because people who are emotionally strong, they're actually becoming stronger. And people who are emotionally weak, they are creating problems in their families now. And check out the WHO report. Domestic violence has gone up by 50%. I repeat, domestic violence has gone up by 50%. And you see, earlier people were saying that if I had time, what would I do? And the answer was, I will spend time with my family. Well, now you have the time, spend it. So people who are strong emotionally, whose ties were strong, they're becoming stronger. And people who are not strong, they are creating bigger problems. Every little thing is bugging them. They're fighting much more. And this is time to bond. This is time to bond in the family. And because if we don't, tomorrow you'll have bigger problems and it'll break. Now, I'll address the psychological part as how do we cope with the crisis? What are the steps? What are the solutions that I learned during my lifetime as we went along? Now, there are 9 solutions, 9 steps. I'm sorry. I've categorized 9 steps to cope with a crisis. And if you would like to take this down, please do so. You're most welcome. Step 1 is called the serenity prayer. I repeat, the step 1 is called the serenity prayer. This is how to cope with the crisis. Folks, in the US, I heard Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the man who wrote the book Power of Positive Thinking, he came to town. I was struggling at that time. And he came in and he saw about 1,000 people sitting in the room. And he said, it appears that you are so cool and calm and relaxed. It appears nobody has a problem here. So he asked, does anybody have a problem here? So everybody raised their hand. Of course, we all have problems. Who doesn't have problems? Then he asked, how many people would like to get rid of their problem? Again, everybody raised their hand. And then he said, while coming to this congregation, 2 blocks away from here, I came across a place where I saw there were some people lying there, totally stretched out, totally relaxed. They had no problem. How many people would like to know where that place is? Again, everybody raised their hand. And Dr. Peale said, 2 blocks away from here, there is a cemetery. And there are people lying there, totally stretched out, totally relaxed. They have no problem. How many people would like to get rid of the problem? Nobody raised their hand. Everybody put their hand in their pocket. That day, Dr. Peale said, remember one thing, problem is a sign of life. I repeat, problem is a sign of life. So long as we are alive, we shall have problems. The day we don't have problems, we'd be dead. And when you are running short of problems, that is a time to get on your knees and pray to God that don't you trust me anymore, send me some problems. But folks, that day, Dr. Peale gave a serenity prayer To me, that is the crux and gist of life. And since the last 45 years, whenever I come out every day, I never go out without my prayer. And this has helped me overcome so many tough situations in life. It is unbelievable. And I'll share with you, this is the prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. I repeat, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know what I can and what I cannot. If you analyze and dissect this prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Now, question is everything within our control? Answer is no. Do I control everything in this world? Answer is no. And there are many things beyond control in life, such as I didn't choose my parents, neither did you. I didn't decide where I was going to be born, neither did you. If this is my height and color of my skin, there's nothing I can do. And granted, sometimes people are born deformed. What wrong did they do? Who knows? And sometimes bad things do happen to good people for no fault of their own. That is true. What wrong did they do? Who knows? How did this crisis come? How did this virus come? I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. But it's here. So it says, what I cannot change, let me accept graciously, not grudgingly. Because many times in life, we keep fighting the things we just cannot change. And we bring stress into our life, and we become paralyzed, and we become unproductive. Are you with me? What I cannot change, let me accept graciously, not grudgingly. And then, if I can change, then give me the guts and courage to do it. And wisdom to know what I can and what I cannot. This is literally the crux of life. Now, when I wrote my book, You Can Win and You Can Achieve More, I took this thought 2 steps further. And in my book, I wrote in that life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. Seems like a contradiction, but not really. See, look at this. If I ill-treat you, I've chosen to be ill-treated, haven't I? If I treat you with discourtesy, I've chosen to be treated with discourtesy, haven't I? If I light up a cigarette, I've chosen to invite cancer, haven't I? If I drink and drive, I've chosen to invite an accident, haven't I? If I exercise every day, I've chosen to invite good health, haven't I? If I eat too much, I've chosen to be obese, haven't I? Think about it. Life is full of choices. Now remember, we are all free to the point of choice, but after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. I repeat, we are all free to the point of choice, but after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. How is life full of compromises? In life, as somebody said beautifully, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us. What we can choose is how we play the game. I repeat, we cannot choose the cards in life. What we can choose is how we play the game. And what is success? Series of positive choices in life is called success. And series of negative choices in life is called failure. That's it. Now, many times I'm asked by the press, Mr. Khera, tell me, people who are successful, don't they make mistakes in life? And people who fail, don't they do positive things in life? And my answer to them is that people who succeed, they do make mistakes. But remember one thing, Making a mistake once in a while does not make a person a failure. Repeating the same mistake again and again is what makes a person a failure. Are you with me? And doing something positive once in a while does not bring success. Repeating the same positive behavior again and again is what brings success. It is that simple. That's about it. Okay, that is one is serenity prayer. Number two, see, when we do our 4-day leadership programs, in fact, we just are doing a program with the James Cook University. They have signed up with us to set up a center of leadership excellence for them in Singapore and Australia. Now, you see, we talk about this component very strongly in there, in the leadership programs. Now, second step is limit your exposure to news to only twice a day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. You know why? News is so negative. News is so negative and it is depressing. There are some people, all they do is they wake up in the morning and they turn the TV on and they look at the news. And what are they checking? They're checking scores. How many dead? How many infected? How many dead? How many infected? How many dead? How many infected? They watch the news 1 hour, one channel. Then they switch the channel and they switch the channel. They're looking for scores as if it's a cricket match between Australia and England. And they keep switching channel as if the score is going to change. They watch the news from morning till night, 12 hours. All they see is infected and death, infected and death. After 12 hours of death around you, in the evening they say, I'm depressed. Of course you'll get depressed. And your immunity goes down and your chances of catching viral are much higher. What have you got? You're inviting depression to yourself, that's all. Limit your exposure to news only twice a day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the, and you're done. That's it. And also, make sure you get your information from reliable sources. There's a lot of fake information today. I repeat, make sure you get your information from reliable sources, not fake sources. So that is step 2 to cope with the crisis. Step 3. Step 3 is build positive relationship. I repeat, build positive relationships in life. Remember one thing. Your biggest asset in life is not your bank balance. I repeat, English language. Your biggest asset in life is not your bank balance. It is your relationship balance. Remember one thing, with good relationship, what a person can achieve with one phone call, you cannot achieve with $1 million. Hello? Are you with me? People with good relationship, what they can achieve with one phone call, you cannot achieve with $1 million. Your relationships are your biggest asset in life. And relationships, personally, professionally, both. Now, let me share with you personally. Look at this. Who are the most important people in our life? Our families. And God forbid, tomorrow, if some of us have a crisis, if you and I are in the hospital tomorrow, who will be there? Family, nobody else. Nobody else. Folks, this is time to get your bonding strong. I repeat, this is the time to get your bonding strong. And if you have it, it's great. You don't have it, build it. Because if you don't build it, it'll break. Many times in life, we are guilty of taking our families for granted. And don't get me wrong, I have made those mistakes myself in life too. I'm not preaching here. So bottom line comes down to is this is time to build. You see, your family and your relationships, and including your friends, they are your biggest support group. They are your biggest security in life. I repeat, they are your biggest support group in life. And without support group, we are nothing. I don't care how many black cats and dogs you have and how many billions of dollars you have in your bank. It does nothing. And you know something? People who are emotionally poor, they have very bad relationships in life. They are emotionally bankrupt. You can have $1 million in the bank. You are emotionally bankrupt. What good is it? Zero. You're not a hero. You are zero. Period. We need to get our priorities right. Relationships. Okay. This is personal relationship, professional relationships. Crucial, equally crucial. And many times there are people, and socially, friends, people do networking. They say, oh, I build relationships. I network with people. They don't, we need to understand what is networking. Networking does not mean that I meet people and see what can I get out of this guy. Oh, I build relationship. He could be useful someday, tomorrow. You see, those people are leeches. They are crooks. They are rascals. Stay away from them. You know something? So long as you are useful, they will be around you. The day your usefulness goes, they will throw you away tomorrow. They will throw you away tomorrow. You see, they are only takers in life. That's about it. Relationships are built on what can I contribute to somebody else's life? What can I give? That is where your relationship starts building. We need to understand what is networking. And in fact, I was at a get-together in Singapore, and I came back, and there was a person who asked me, well, you met quite a few people, and did you meet somebody where it could be advantageous to you? It bothered me so much. I said, don't you understand that anybody you meet, just meeting good people is a pleasure by itself, whether you get anything or not out of them. It makes no difference. And if all you're looking is to grab something out of it, you are totally a self-centered, selfish rascal. You should be staying out of here. We need to be very clear that what is a relationship. I got a call the other day from a gentleman I had not heard 10 years. Suddenly I get a call. Mr. Khera, I'm so-and-so. I'm calling in that you and I had connected 10 years ago. But unfortunately, he says, it is my fault. I disconnected with you somewhere, or we did not keep the connection going somewhere. I'm just calling to reconnect, sir, because I had respect for you. You know something? When he said that, I felt so guilty that day. I said, sir, you're totally right. You are totally right. We did connect 10 years ago and we disconnected. My fault. I didn't keep up with you, but you beat me to a phone call. You beat me to a phone call. And I'm grateful to you, sir. And now I'm just going to make sure that we remain connected. And immediately after my phone call, I hung up. I pulled out all my telephone book people on my list. And I said, let me call people who I had connected, who I respect for. But I had disconnected for a long time. I said, my fault. I just made a call to at least 10, 15 people. I said, buddy, I'm so sorry. I apologize. We got disconnected somewhere. My fault. I'm just reconnecting with you. Nothing else. We have no business, nothing to do. You know something? This is where your connection, relationship counts. Are you with me? Are you with me? Okay. Now, I had a gentleman who came up to me and he said, Mr. Khera, tell me, after the crisis is over, what do we do to reconnect and get our business up and running? I said, Do one thing. You see, we do consulting with many organizations, and they pay us to give this consulting advice to them. And I said, look, do one thing. Go back, look at your customer base for the last 6 years. Just look at your customer base for the last 6 years and check out all the people who are doing business with you in the last 6 years who has not done business with you in the last 1 year. Just call the people who were doing business with you 5 years ago, but they have not done business with you since 1 year. Pick up the phone and call. Not to ask for business. That is totally selfishness. But pick up the phone and say, Mr. So-and-so, we were doing business 5 years ago. I see we haven't done any business in the last 2 years. I'm calling to seek little help from you, sir. I just want to find out, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong that we disconnected somewhere? Don't say I'm looking for business. They have time, they will listen to you. Today they have time because of the lockdown. Tomorrow they will be busy, they will not even take your call. This is the time to build relationship. That's your biggest asset. Next is number 4, step 4. How do we overcome depression? Because there are many people depressed out there, including students, elders, parents. Many people are depressed. How do we overcome depression? Folks, I got a call the other day and they said, Mr. Khera, I'm feeling very depressed. I'm bored. I am bored. Now, I didn't say that to them, but I learned one thing in my life. Only boring people are bored. Only boring people are bored. And this is the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. Solitude is the pleasure of being alone. I enjoy my company. I am at peace with myself. I am at peace with myself. You know something? Of course, we'd like to get the crisis behind us. But you know, the last 2 months have been great. I've been sitting with my family. I'm enjoying it. And if this goes on like this for 6 months, I have to stay home. I can easily enjoy, and I'm busy. I'm booked. But you know something? People who are lonely, even amongst groups, they're still lonely. It has something to do with mindset, emotional instability. Now, let me share with you how do we overcome depression? A world famous psychiatrist was a man by the name of Dr. Carl Menninger. Menninger Clinic in the United States is today considered to be the last word in psychiatry. And somebody asked Dr. Menninger, Doc, if you knew for sure that one of your patients was going to be coming up with an attack of depression, what treatment would you advise to them? They thought he would write medication. He said, if I knew if one of my patients was coming up with an attack of depression, I will tell them, go home, lock yourself out, go to the other side of town, look for somebody who is hurting, look for somebody who is in trouble, help them. Your depression will go away automatically. World famous psychiatrist advised to overcome depression is, he says, go help somebody who is in trouble and your depression will go away. You know something? Busy people have no time to get depressed. Hello? Busy people have no time to get depressed. I do a lot of work with the Round Table, the Rotaries, the Lions. We do some fundraising with them. I've noticed one thing. They're such positive people. They're so busy every day organizing a blood camp, eye camp, blood camp, eye camp, blood, eye camp, eradicating polio. They have no time. I have not seen these people depressed. Maybe an exception. I have no idea. I have not seen any of these people so depressed. They're so positive. So to overcome depression, do something for others and your depression will go away. Okay, next step. Step 5 is step 6, I'm sorry, is become a proactive person. I repeat, become a proactive person. Most people in life are reactive. Become a proactive person. What does that mean? When we do our leadership programs, many times by surprise, we ask participants, are you a good person? Sometimes they say, well, I'm not sure. Or if other people think I'm good, I'm good. But then sometimes they say, yeah, I'm good. But then you throw a second question. What makes you good? And the answer is, because I don't do bad. Or I don't tell lies, I don't cheat, I don't steal. So I am good. I said, sir, that is not my criteria. See, just because I don't do bad does not make a person good. See, if I don't cheat, it only means I'm not a cheat, but that does not make a person good. If I don't steal, it only means I'm not a thief, but that does not make a person good. And if I don't tell lies, it only means I'm not a liar, but that does not make a person good. Go ask a medical doctor. Maybe some of you are. Go ask a medical doctor. Absence of ill health does not mean good health. Are you with me? Absence of ill health does not mean good health. Just because you don't do bad does not make you good. A person becomes good when they do good. Actively do good. Now, why am I sharing this with you? I hope and pray that your university, D.Y. Patil University, creates leaders everywhere. And remember one thing. A leader stands for something in life. And anybody who stands for something always stands against something also. A good leader is never neutral. I repeat, a good leader is never neutral. Neutral guy is a politician. I repeat, a good leader is never neutral. See, folks, let me qualify this. I'm bringing this up is I have no compassion. I have no compassion for the enemies of humanity. I repeat one more time. I have no compassion for enemies of humanity. Now, what is my definition of enemies of humanity? You've seen many. I've seen videos. New York, Europe, India. Who are the enemies of humanity? The enemies of humanity are those who are beating up the healthcare professionals, beating up the security professionals, beating up the cops, beating up other people. They're throwing stones at the doctors. They are enemies of humanity. They are spitting at them. They are spitting. They got the virus, but they're spitting on purpose. This is sadistic, so he also catches the virus. They're lacing vegetables. They're lacing fruits. They're lacing, throwing spits at the pizza delivery stuff, so you catch the virus. In my opinion, they are enemies of humanity. I have no compassion for them. A good leader is never neutral. You stand for something, then you stand against something. Let me share. Through history, I was doing a program. There were 5,000 to 6,000 people. One person right in front of the entire group came up to the auditorium to the stage, and he asked me a pointed question. He said, Mr. Khera, are you a Gandhian? Folks, listen carefully. Are you a Gandhian? I've learned one thing in my life. Don't start replying to questions till you do two things. One, clarify, and two, sometimes the best answer to a question is a question too. So I asked him, I said, sir, I'm not very clear. I'm confused. Sir, can you tell me what are the criteria of being a Gandhian? Clarify this for me. What makes a Gandhian first? He said there are 3 criteria. 1, Gandhi believed that with love you can win everybody in this world. That was one thing. 2, Gandhi believed in tolerance. And 3, Gandhi believed in non-violence. 3 pillars of Gandhian. 3 pillars. So I don't know what came to my mind. I said, look, I have not read my epics, the Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. I have not read them or the Ramayans, but I've heard enough. I said, let us look at what our epics are saying. I don't know what came to my mind. All of a sudden, I asked him a question. I said, tell me, was Ram a Gandhian? Was Ram a Gandhian? Let us look at the 3 criteria that you said of being a Gandhian. 1, with love, you can win everybody in this world. Now tell me, was Ram able to win everybody with love? Was he able to do it? Answer is what? No, he couldn't. 2, you said tolerance is the 2nd pillar of Gandhian. I said, did Ram say, I'm very tolerant? You took Sita away, it's all right, don't worry about it. I'll get a 2nd one. You take a 2nd one, I'll get a 3rd one. You'll take a 3rd one, I'll get a 4th one. No. He said, I will not tolerate kidnappers like you. I will not tolerate kidnappers like you. So Ram failed the 2nd test. 3rd, you said non-violence. I said, tell me, what did Ram do? Even for self-defense, he had to pull the weapon and kill the kidnapper. Now, even for self-defense, you don't call it non-violence. It is violence. It is violence for self-defense. So that means Ram was not a Gandhian. Now, just go back, look at our own history, the Sikh history, the 10 Sikh gurus, 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Was he a Gandhian? Was he able to win everybody with love? Answer is he could not. The Mughals were forcibly converting people into Islam. He said he could not do it. 2, 2nd, did he tolerate terrorism and oppression? He could not tolerate. 3, did he pick up the weapon? So obviously, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib was not a Gandhian. And I said, I am not a Gandhian. I am not a Gandhian. And if not protecting your dignity and your family, in my opinion, if you don't pick up and stand up, that is called cowardice. That is not called tolerance. That is called cowardice, not tolerance. And I am not a Gandhian, period. I repeat this thing here. People who stand for integrity, they will stand against evil. I repeat, if you stand for good, you must stand against evil. Ram stood for good. He stood against evil. Are you with me? We have to do that. We cannot be neutral. If that's what you want to be, go become a politician. You're not a leader. Okay. Next step. Next step is, how do we cope with it? And that is build high self-esteem. Build high self-esteem. Self-esteem makes people emotionally strong. And emotionally strong people are able to handle stress much better. What is self-esteem? Self-esteem is the way we feel about ourselves. When we feel good, the world looks nice, productivity goes up, and relationships are a lot better, aren't they? And the reverse is just as true. And self-esteem is inversely related to egos. Have you seen people with egos like I know it all? What do? They talk down to people, don't they? They put down others, don't they? And every decision they make is more to satisfy ego than makes sense. Now think about it, folks. Why does a human being put down another human being? It is sadistic but true. There are some people in this world who feel good when the other person feels bad. They feel superior when the other person feels inferior, which means they don't want to lift themselves up, but they want to pull others down. Sadistic behavior. Now, what is the driving force behind high self-esteem? Self-acceptance. Self-acceptance says, I accept myself the way I am, with my pluses and minuses. I am at peace with myself. Now, I accept myself the way I am does not mean arrogance. That does not mean complacence. That does not mean take it or leave it. And that does not mean that's the way I will be. That is arrogance. If you analyze, understand self-esteem properly, it is the epitome of humility. Here is what it says. How I came to this world, I don't know, but I'm here. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Yeah, I make mistakes. I made mistakes. I apologize for my mistakes. I seek forgiveness for my mistakes. I learned from my mistakes. I'm not proud of my mistakes. I will not repeat my mistakes, but I am not a mistake. I am at peace with myself. I accept myself the way I am, with my pluses and minuses. It is not arrogance. It doesn't say that's the way I will be. That it doesn't say I will not change for the better. But I am not fighting inside. I am at peace with myself. I accept myself the way I am. And you know something? Pretty much all over the world, in schools and colleges and in offices, anywhere, 5,000% problems everywhere are self-esteem issues. We spend 5 hours during our leadership program on addressing self-esteem issues. Okay. A great example of self-acceptance was Charlie Chaplin. In my new book, You Can Achieve More, I mentioned his memoir. Once, Charlie Chaplin was going through Europe and he saw a big hoarding, a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. Out of sheer inquisitiveness, he decided to participate. And he did. And guess what? He lost. And guess what? He came number 7. Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. He came 7. He started thinking, real one loses, fake one wins. But then he started thinking, I'm the only one who knows who's the real Charlie Chaplin here. I'm the only one who knows who the real one is. Then he started thinking, should I tell them? Then again, he started analyzing, why should I tell them? Do I have to prove anything to anybody here? I'm the only one who knows the real one anyway. Do I have to prove that you are not and I am? He said, no, I have to prove nothing to anybody. I know my identity. I know who I am. I am at peace with myself. He walked away. This is called self-acceptance. I have to prove you nothing. It is humility. It is not arrogance. People with high self-esteem are emotionally strong people. They are the ones who can handle things, and they are mature people. Okay, next step. Next step is, folks, is convert your wasted time to productive time. You have the time now. Convert your wasted time to productive time. Folks, this statement I will repeat at the end of the program also, and that is, if during this crisis, if we don't upskill ourselves, or if we have not become more knowledgeable, or if we have not become healthier and fitter, it is not because we lack time. It is because we lack commitment and self-discipline. I repeat, if during the lockdown period, if we have not upskilled ourselves or become more knowledgeable or become healthier and fitter, it is because we lack self-discipline and commitment. Now, let me share with you, convert your wasted time to productive time. How do you do it? In the US, a survey was conducted before the crisis, by the way, that on an average, an American watches 3 to 4 hours of television per day. Before the crisis, today they're watching 8-10 hours TV per day. So somebody bought a new TV. A friend of his came over, saw the nice TV, and he asked his friend, how much does the TV cost you? He said, $1,000. He said, are you sure? He said, yes. He said, how much do you make? What is your annual income? He said, I make $100,000 a year. He said, do you know what is your hourly rate? He said, well, multiply or divide it with 2,000 hours that I put in a year. My average rate per hourly rate is $50 an hour. And 3 hours of watching TV, 3 hours of watching TV per day, he said, you're wasting $150 per day. Multiply 365, close to 1,000 hours. You know something? That comes to $55,000 per year. This TV is not cost you $1,000. This TV is costing you $55,000 a year. $55,000 a year. That is more than EMI on your $500,000 home. More than EMI on your $500,000 home. You know something? Don't get me wrong. We all enjoy TV. I do it myself. There are some nice movies, some nice programs. That is true. Once in a while you watch. And then he said one thing. See, while you are watching plays and movies. Guess who's making money? The guy who is doing the plays and the movie, they're making money, and they're making money from you. This is, you can convert your wasted time into productive time. We can watch nice plays and nice things. It relaxes us. But if that's all you do every day, watch 3-4 hours, well, then you better sit here permanently for the rest of your life. And what do? You convert your wasted time, which is wasted time, into productive time. How do you do it? In my new book, You Can Achieve More, I have mentioned that 85% of millionaires and billionaires today are first generation. I repeat, 85% of millionaires and billionaires today are first generation. Only 15% from inheritance. And they were asked, how come you got so much financial success in such a short time? And you know, the answer was, we read books. How many books? About 50 books a year. By the way, you can Google it and check these surveys. 50 books a year. And what kind of books? They said, we read only self-help books. We do not read fiction. Why? Fiction is fiction. Self-help book, one good idea is worth $1 million. One good idea is worth $1 million. Multimillionaire and billionaire, they read one book a week. Now, do you realize there is a correlation between learning and earning? Learning and earning. Learning and earning. You learn and you earn. And there are people who have all the time in this world. They will never read it. And they also say, you know what? I don't have the money to buy a book. Hey, Go to your library, you get it free. Go to your library, you get it free. These are people who will make excuses all their life. They'll never do anything in this life. Convert your and one more thing. I've learned one thing. People who are serious, who read books, they never borrow or lend a book. They never borrow or lend a book. Sometimes people come to me and say, Mr. Khera, I got a great book. I'll lend it to you. I said, no. Give it to me, gift it to me, sell it to me. Don't lend it to me. Why? Because I won't give it back to you. Why? Because when I read a book, I underline, highlight, make notes on the side. And I also learned, why do I do that? I've learned one thing, that reading a good book once is not good enough. You know why? Because when you read the book second time, it's not that you find something new in the book, you find something new in yourself. I repeat. When you read a book the second time, there's nothing new written in the book. You don't find anything new in the book, but you find something new in yourself. I learned reading a good book once is never good enough. And at one time, I used to read about 30, 40 books a year. But you know something, in between a few years, I stopped reading books. And for the first 2-3 days, I also made the same mistake. I was watching TV for 8 hours a day. I made that same mistake too. But then I was cleaning up my office, my library, and I've counted, I have close to 250,000 books in my library. That's more than many libraries have it. And I saw many books were half read. And I pulled out, I started reading my book. And the other day, I read a book till 6 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't get up till 2 o'clock, but that's okay. I don't have to go anywhere. But I did not waste my time watching TV. That was time well invested. Singapore government is very good. During this lockdown period, they are putting a few $1 billion for upskilling their people, the whole country. And they say during uptime, we didn't have time. This is downtime. We have time, all we have is time. Upskill yourself, because when the crisis is over, you will get a jump start. You'll be ready. Folks, as I said, I'm repeating, till 5 weeks ago, I did not know how to turn a computer on. I didn't know how to do it. I was learning SMS from my grandchildren. But today, for the last 5 weeks, every day I am doing a webinar, every day. And I'm booked for the next 1 month further, every day. I repeat, if during this lockdown period, if we do not upskill, or if we have not become more knowledgeable, or if we have not become fitter and healthier, it is not because we lack time. We lack discipline and commitment. I've lost 6 kilos of weight in this period, 6 kilos voluntarily, and I feel good. I feel so much lighter. The bottom line is, convert your wasted time into productive time. Okay, next step. Next step is to overcome the crisis or cope with the crisis. Folks, this is very crucial. Remember one thing. In life, faith gives strength. Faith is good. But blind faith leading to superstition makes people weak in life. I repeat, faith gives you strength. But blind faith, which is superstition, takes away strength. What do I call blind faith? One of the biggest damage our media has done to this country is anytime you pick up the newspaper, anytime you open the TV, what do you see? Horoscope. There's a guy sitting there with the saffron clothes with 25 things here, and there's a Baba or a Sadhu sitting there. And where are you speaking from? What is your date of birth? What is your time? Guruji, I don't know. Oh, don't worry, I will take it out. Tick, 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 tick. Pitri dosh, patni dosh, putni dosh, falana dosh, this dosh, manglik, falana, shani chad gaya, shani chad gaya, shani chad gaya, and that's it. And now what happens? He says, okay, shani, I will take it off. The solution, upay. Take a black handkerchief, take black dal, take kajal, take black hair person, find a black dog and find a black katori and do this, and your shani will go away. Let me ask you, if it is so easy to get shani in, get him out, get shani in, get him out, get shani in, then why don't we send shani to Pakistan and destroy all the terrorists in one go, finish off? Send him there. You know something, folks? I heard a Baba the other day. I'm sure you people have heard. Thousands of people there paid money. And they said, Guruji, I have this problem. And he asked, did you have jalebi? Kal jalebi khai thi? Kal golgappe khaye the? This is what they're talking. And there are people who are doing it. There are Babas, you ask them what to do. Do preet. I know this says he's selling honey. And there are Babas doing honey preet together, selling out there. These are people who should be in jail. I want to make one very strong point, and that is, if you look at the life histories of Swami Vivekananda, Swami Dayanand, Guru Nanak, they never believed in these things and they fought against it. I repeat, Swami Vivekananda, Swami Dayanand, Guru Nanak, they fought against it. They fought against superstition. Go check out all Sikh families. They never tally horoscopes. There is no manglik. There is no shubh omen. Every wedding is done on a Sunday. Sunday doesn't sit right, they do it on a Saturday. Saturday doesn't sit right, do it on a Friday. You know something? I highly recommend this. There was an article written 1 year ago in India Today. You must read that article. It said, especially in India, are you aware that childbirths in India due to C-section and operation have gone up drastically? And then they quoted South India and especially quoted Bangalore, Hyderabad, Madras. Are you aware? It'll shock you. It did shock me. 80% of childbirths are done through operation and C-section. 80%. You know why? Because some astrologers said, this is the time to pull the child out. You know something? Why I bring this up is faith strengthens people. Blind faith weakens people. It's crucial we need to understand what the whole thing is all about. You see, when things go wrong, instead of analyzing and learning from it, you know what people do? They say, my stars are not favoring me. My stars are not favoring. They will never accept responsibility. They will always blame the stars. And therefore, they learn nothing in life. And they keep repeating the same mistake again and again and again and again. Folks, I have reconfirmed and checked Swami Vivekananda's life. He stood against it. Guru Nanak stood against it. I don't have time to go into more examples, but there is enough of it. Pick up the India Today. It is ridiculous what we are doing outside, weakening people. And lastly, to cope with the crisis, this is time to give back to society. This is time to give back. Let me share with you. I've seen in the news all over the world, there are some very good people. They have come forward and giving donations, money, physical help, food. There are a lot of good people doing it. That is true. But as a community, I salute one community. Not only I salute, the government of New Zealand, government of Australia, government of United States, Canada, England, they have honored the Sikh community. They have honored the Sikh community. They, for service to humanity, giving back, the concept of langar. Before the crisis, hundreds of thousands of people per day were eating langar. And after the crisis, 500,000 to 1 million people are eating langar. You know why? As a community, they have been honored all over the world. You know why? The Guru Granth Sahib, that is part of it, is they are caring people. They are caring people. 2, they are sharing people. 3, they are daring people. They care for humanity, they share with humanity, and they are daring people. They have the guts and courage to stand against oppression. I wish our constitution had adopted things from the Granth Sahib and the Gurus. I wish this country would have been totally different. But now come back. I'll share with you a story on Lafayette, a Frenchman. He was a multimillionaire. A drought happened in France. He had huge warehouses full of grains. And his advisor said to him, Mr. Lafayette, this is the time to multiply your money, 10x, 100x. 100x. And there's a drought. There's hunger. They will pay everything. They will sell everything and yet pay you 100 times. This is the time to make money. You know what Lafayette said? He said, there were good times. They were making money. We were making money. They were laughing. We were laughing. This is not good time. This is the time to give back. Open the grains. Take no money. Just give it away. Just give it away. This is the time to give. And folks, we all are making hopefully that contribution. We have a Gurdwara, they're feeding about 6,000-7,000 people per day here. And we make our contribution on a daily basis, whatever we can, we do. I share this with you. Time to give back. Now, many times you hear people saying, money is the root of all evils. That is not true. And there are people who say money is not important. Do you know, in my book I have written here, people who say money is not important, they're either stupid or they're billionaires. I'm not saying money is the most important thing, but money is very important. Now, I was addressing a group of people in Singapore. They were very high net worth people. High net worth is one, very high net worth is another. Who do I call very high net worth? Who are $250 million plus. $250 million plus. That's very high net worth. So I was addressing a group like that. One person came up from there and said, Mr. Khera, tell me, a person has a few $1 billion. They don't have to work at all. They have so much money, they don't have to work. But why do they keep working and still want to make more money and make more billions? So I said, there are two kinds of people in this world. One is suffering from inferiority complex. They keep making money to keep a score for one-upmanship, keeping up with the Joneses. How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have this, I don't have it? How come they have, and they keep a score. They're 50 million, I must make 100 million. Because if I'm less than him, I'm inferior. You see, he has 100 million, I must have 200 million. He has 200, I must have 300. 300, I must have 400. They keep a score. To them, they equate self-worth with net worth. Are you with me? They equate self-worth with net worth. They don't understand. People make things. Things don't make people. Things don't make people. Somebody said, in fact, it was Warren Buffett who said beautifully, if there's a donkey is a donkey will remain a donkey. Now, if he has $1 billion, he's still a donkey with $1 billion. That's it. You see, just because you carry golden bricks on a donkey, the donkey does not become a golden donkey. He still remains a donkey. And because you carry scriptures on a donkey does not become a spiritual donkey. Donkey is a donkey. Now, I share this. This is one breed of people who keep making money to keep a score, net worth and self-worth. And they sit on their treasure like a snake and they do nothing for society. They are, in my opinion, selfish rascals. I don't want to have any connection with people like that. But there's a second breed of billionaires who make more money so they can serve the society better. They can serve and help others better. Warren Buffett, I believe, he had $39 billion. He gave $38 billion to charity. Bill Gates got 33 billion. Out of 33 billion, gave 32 billion to charity for serving humanity. Premji gave $7 billion to charity. I learned one thing in my life, that money in good hands always does good. Money in evil hands will always do evil. Are you with me? Money in good hands will always do good. Money in evil hands will always do evil. Therefore, hear this, therefore, it is the moral obligation. And we share this in our leadership program, which we're running now at James Cook University, that it is a moral obligation of every good human being to become a multimillionaire and a billionaire. Moral obligation to become a multimillionaire and a billionaire, because money in good hands does good, money in evil hands does evil. With that, I'm going to stop here. Keep in mind, folks, if out of the crisis, we have not come out upskilled, more knowledgeable, or healthier, it is not because we lack time, but we lack the commitment. All I can do is, I wish everybody, all the viewers, good health, stay safe. But in closing, I just want to say something. What you people have given me is probably a lot more than I might have given you in this time. You know what you have given me? You have given me your time. And I've learned one thing in my life: time is more precious than money. Yes, no. Time is more precious than money. And you gave me your time because of trust. Because you trusted me, and I'm grateful to all of you. You see, you ask even the religious preachers, what is the greatest thing in the world? And they'll tell you, love is the greatest thing in the world. Not true. You know something? In my opinion, trust in many ways is a much greater compliment in life than love. There are people we love, but we can't trust. Therefore, all I can say is I'm grateful to all of you. You've given me your time and your trust. God bless all of you, and make sure you provide the great education, build strong leaders, and country needs it badly. Country needs it badly. This is what we are lacking, is good leadership today. And thank you very much. God bless.
It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
I know I've gone to 1:30. I've gone almost an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, but I don't know what to cut off from here. Maybe I failed at that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, so much for a inspiring and a thought-provoking talk. I am sure your message, prepare, not to repair. Passive income, leaders are not neutral, and money in good hands always do good, and money in evil hands always does evil. This will reach to thousands and thousands aspirants today through this webinar. Sir, large number of participants has posted the questions for you. May I request you to take a few to guide them?
Okay, let's take three, sir. Let's take three, any three you want.
Okay, sir. With your permission, I invite Dr. Somnath Patil, Honorable Trustee of Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapith, to post his question. Over to you, Dr. Somnath Patil, sir.
So very good afternoon. My question is, how do I identify if my goal is big enough? What steps must I take to achieve my goal?
This actually takes a little long time to get into this. Many times one-liner answers don't do the job, really. It's more disservice. But all I can share with you is one thing. Just like I'm sure you've done some strategic planning for your university, I'm sure you've done it. Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
Just the way you've done strategic planning for your university, have you ever done strategic planning for your own self, personally?
I'm working on that.
Obviously, you've not done it.
Yeah.
Now, then that really your answer is very clear. First of all, what is strategic planning? When we do consulting for the corporates and businesses, you see, we're here. I want to be here. How do I get here? And what are the resources I require to get here? Therefore, you need to figure out, do your own personal strategic planning. And my recommendation to you would be, do 1 year planning and 3 year planning, no more. Don't go 5 year, 10 year planning. People do that, nothing wrong with that. But 1 year and only 3 year planning. I'll tell you why. If you got your 1 year under your belt the way you want it, and you got 3 year under your belt the way you want it, your next 30 years is under your belt. Because if you got 3 years the way you want it and you achieved your targets, your next 30 years is good because you are in momentum. Ride on the momentum, don't lose out on the momentum. And because the world is changing so fast, there's no way we can plan beyond 30 years or 3 years. There's no way. Therefore, 1 year and 3 years tops. I'll share with you, it's strange. Mercedes, my clients, and their senior executive said one thing, that the way things are changing so fast, our competitors in the future will not be automobile manufacturers. They will be Amazons and the Googles. And the way things are changing so fast, products are getting obsolete the day they're getting launched. And this might help you in the university. Knowledge is getting obsolete within 2 to 3 years. I repeat, knowledge is getting obsolete within 2 to 3 years. Go check your engineering graduates. By the time they get to the 4th year, what they learned the first year became obsolete. Check your medical graduates. By the time they get to the 5th year, what they learned the first year became obsolete. Now, see, this article that I wrote with and sent it to my clients, and what we are implementing with the James Cook University is that it has become a cliche. The only constant is change. No, but then either we are in deep trouble or we have a great opportunity for those who are prepared. But when you say prepared, how do you prepare for the unknown? How do you prepare for the unknown? You can't. Now, then I wrote an article which I sent for New York Times. Is there anything else in this world that is constant? And if it is, why not master the constants? Master the constants, and then no matter what change comes, you are ready. So what are the constants? Here, Hear this carefully. This is part of my curriculum. One is master people skills. 2, persuasion skills. 3, prioritizing skills. They have never changed. They will never change. My parents, our parents, their parents, their parents, never changes. People skills, persuasion skills, prioritizing skills. Now, why do I say that? Number one, check out all over the world. We don't have business problems. We have people problems. And when we take care of our people problems, most of our business problems are automatically resolved. And 2, all over the world, through history, we are hired for our skills, but we are fired for our behavior. Yes, no. We are hired for our skills, but we are fired for our behavior. Remember one thing in life, technology and technicians you can always buy with money. But the wealthiest person in the world must build and create relationships. And 2, persuasion. I mean, these are 3-day programs, but 2 is persuasion skills. Persuasion means ability to influence, ability to convince, ability to negotiate, ability to sell. That's called persuasion. 4 things only: influence, negotiate, convince, and sell. Now, there are people who are so ignorant, they don't understand. They say, I don't need it. I'm into manufacturing, I'm into operations, I'm into IT. Oh, they're nuts. They're silly. Who doesn't need it? A candidate at a job interview, what's he doing? Selling. For which he needs what? Persuasion skills. A boy, girl proposing to get married, what are they doing? Persuading each other. A politician giving speeches to get votes, what's he doing? Selling. For which he needs what? Persuasion skills. So persuasion skills is very crucial anywhere and everywhere in this world. 3 is prioritizing, which I already covered in priorities, urgent and important. So these 3 skills we need to master. And then I don't care what change comes in, you are ready, man. You are ready. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Next question, is there?
Yes, sir. We have with us Dr. Yashraj Patil, Honorable Trustee of Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapith. He would also like to post his question to you. Dr. Yashraj Patil, sir, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Keep my academics. I failed in 10th, so keep my questions to that level. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, in this
Yes, sir.
era of online teaching, how emotional intelligence will be relevant?
You know something? Today, I'm more convinced than ever in my life that IQ is more important than EQ. I'm sorry, EQ is more important than IQ. Look, I'll share with you a prime example. People say everything is moving on technology. My friend, technology is only a tool. I don't care. Technology is only a tool, and for the rest of your life, it will always remain a tool. But you see, behind technology, there is one person, startup, entrepreneur, business, somebody's running that thing here. And you know something? Their values will reflect in their delivery systems. Now, I'll share with you, technology doesn't do the job, nor just intelligence. IQ doesn't do the job either. Do you know what? How did they figure out the IQ part? Somebody in their right thinking or wrong thinking came up with a test. Divide your chronological with your psychological, multiply with 100, you come up with a number. If it exceeds X, you are a genius. Oh, that's it. But then they figured out the test was in English language. Does that mean that the non-English speaking world has no IQ? Then they changed the IQ test to pictures and many other things. Now, that's not it. My answer is, are you aware that IITs in India, 20 million people go for the IIT test. I don't know how many million, but it's a big number. But they only take 20,000 or less. I don't know. But the number is minuscule. People who apply is 20 million and they take only 2,000, 20,000. I don't know, but it's a very small number. That means those who are selected have great IQs. One of the highest IQs is the IIT people. And let me ask you, which place has one of the highest suicide rates? Also, the IITians. Point is, they have great IQ, but what EQ? They don't have the EQ part. And I don't care what IQ you have. You can't reach anywhere unless you have the EQ. You have small IQ with high EQ. You'll do much better than with big IQ and small EQ. So it is crucial. Answer is imperative.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. We have with us one of our student, Jasdeep Batra, from MBA first year, Global Business School and Research Center. He would like to ask you a question. Over to you, Mr. Jasdeep Batra.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. First of all, thank you for
Yes. Loudly, speak a little louder, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, sir, first of all, thank you for such an inspiring and energetic speech. So, my question was that what is the difference between aspiration and inspiration?
Difference between?
Between aspiration and inspiration.
Okay. Look, let me distinguish between motivation and inspiration. Many times people ask, can we motivate others? Answer is no, we cannot motivate others, but we can inspire others. Why? Motivation is action, inspiration is thinking. When thinking changes, behavior changes, which is more lasting. So inspiration is what gets you moving, what gets you to take action. That's inspiration. Aspiration is I aspire to achieve something. Now, many times people confuse ambition with aspiration. I repeat, ambition, aspiration, they're very close, but there is a difference between. And you see, when people are very ambitious, they want to get that no matter what. But aspiration is slightly different. When you aspire something, you don't say no matter what. You say, well, I want to achieve my goal with ethically, with fair and square. That's the way I want to reach my goal. There's the aspiration, you aspire, and ambition is something else. Ambition also, they're very close to each other, ambition. Aspiration is positive. I aspire to achieve. And many times, that's about it. There's a very subtle difference. That's it. I think we've gone with.
Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, I request you to take the last question of this webinar from our honorable Vice Chairperson, Dr. Bhageshri Patil Madam.
I would like to have dinner at some place.
Namaste, namaste, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, yes. I would just like to know, how should a woman balance work and home responsibilities?
I'll tell you one thing. Very tough one. Why? How can a woman? It's not only women need to do it. Every person needs to do it. Hello. Men folks need to do it. We need to set the balance. And let me share with you, we can only do certain things the best we can. Let me share, total balance is a panacea. Ma'am, hear this carefully. Total balance of work and home life is a panacea. It is something totally imaginary because total balance can never be achieved. You know something why? When there's a family person sick at home, then you ignore work and you concentrate home in the family. Don't you do that? Do you have a balance there? No. Who? When you are rising up in life, when you are working, when you're starting up in life, you have to put more time to work. Otherwise, how will your family will live on it? So there's imbalance there too. Sometimes you have to give more focus to one. If family member is sick, more focus is to my family and less to my work. It's imbalance here again. So keep one thing in mind, 100% balance is not achievable. Anybody who says they are nuts. Okay, bottom line is, normally one needs to figure out how I can set up my priorities. And to maintain that balance, go back. We actually normally in our leadership, we have a priority chart. Priority chart means figure out what is important and what is. Start giving your time to your important every day. And that's about it. Once you start doing that, everything else falls behind. And that's about it. You will start getting your balance automatically. Just like you say, well, this time is not my appointment time with outsider. This is my, in the US, I used to do some programs and I had an attorney with me there. 5 o'clock every day. This attorney was in the gym every day, no matter what. There were people who wanted to talk to him, which they were willing to pay him money for it, for consultation. He said, no, 5 to 6, it is my gym time. It is my time, not your time. You know what his answer was? He said, if I don't look after my health, if I fall sick, will you look after my family? Well, if you're not, this is not your time, it's my time. If you will not look after my family, you don't get this time. It is my time. I don't care what you pay me. He was in the gym 5 to 6. So you see, he said everything else can wait, this can't wait. See, we all need to define our priorities. Nowadays, how did I lose my 6 kilos of weight? I know I have to be in my sauna. I go to do my 25 minutes of my exercise. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Unless, God forbid, somebody's my wife or my children or grandchildren are there. I mean, I will not compromise this at all. For them, yes, I will. So we need to understand where we are coming from. Total balance is not possible. Are you with me? And there are people who talk, yes, you can have balance. No, they can't. They don't have it themselves. Okay. Thank you. Are we through?
Yes. Chetan sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for giving such valuable inputs. Sir, any amount of time you spend with us, it will not be sufficient for us, as there is so much to learn from you. Your message and the guidance.
The programs, this is not time to do that.
Your message and guidance is not less than a blessing to someone who is in search of excellence, excellence of intelligence, excellence of mental fitness, excellence of health, and excellence of spirituality. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I invite Dr. Mrs. Smita Jadhav, Trustee, DPU, and the lady behind the entire planning and execution of this webinar. It is her commitment to make this webinar successful, which gave all of us an opportunity to interact country's best motivational speaker, Shiv Khera. I request Madam Dr. Smita Jadhav to propose vote of thanks for this webinar. Over to you, ma'am.
Smita, who brought me yesterday. I am so grateful, Smita, to you.
No, we are grateful, sir. Thank you so much. Honorable Mr. Shiv Khera, sir, our beloved Chancellor, sir, Dr. P.D. Patil, Vice Chancellor, sir, Dr. N.J. Pawar, sir, Vice Chairman Bhagyashree Patil, Madam, Secretary Somnath Patil, Trustee Dr. Yashraj, sir, my directors, deans, students, alumni, and friends. I, on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil, Vidyapeeth Pimpri Pune, and the entire team here extend a very hearty vote of thanks to you, Mr. Shiv Khera, sir, for gracing this webinar and enlightening and motivating each one of us. Sir, you have inspired, encouraged, and have touched and transformed the lives of thousands of people around the world. You have taught people to live with integrity, respect, and responsibility. Even during this COVID pandemic, your words of wisdom have encouraged people to find a way and lead a very meaningful life. No doubt, these trying times have affected our lives, livelihood, and lifestyle. We all have been besieged by stress, anxiety, anger, and depression. We do not know what tomorrow holds for us, But as you rightly said, sir, that stress is what makes people perform. It helps us to think out of the box and bring out the best. We have choices, and it is for us to choose the right one. Attitude, values, and vision form the blueprint of one's success. And as you rightly said, sir, it is possible to achieve by psyching oneself towards positive thinking. We are truly inspired by your great words, sir. Thank you so much. Before I conclude, I would thank you so much for your valuable time and enriching us with your invaluable wisdom, sir. We hope to see you again at our institute once this pandemic is over. Over to you, Chetan, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was very enlightening and inspirational talk by you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Great.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. N.J. Pawar, sir. With this, I conclude today's session, and I'm thankful to all the participants for joining us. I will be filling in my duties if I not request all the panelists and participants to give a big round of applause to today's speaker, Mr. Shiv Khera. Thank you, sir. I need your permission to conclude the session.
Thank you, sir. I'm grateful.
Thank you, sir.